Okay, let's get started. Jamie, the president who usually leads these meetings, is going to be late tonight, so I'm going to kick it off for her. Welcome, and let's introduce ourselves. I'm Giselle with the Fire Safe Council of Siskiyou County. I am the coordinator. Siskiyou Media Council.
Hi, I'm Dave McAdams, Siskiyou Media Council. I just wanted to say thanks to Jennifer Erickson for giving me Kevin Tidwell's information. We've been broadcasting the Marble Complex live briefings and daily briefs, and so we've got those posted all over YouTube and the bulletin board and things like that. And I just talked to Six Rivers tonight about the Orleans complex, so they're looking at trying to broadcast their briefings on a daily basis across the social media and the bulletin board. And so that's really about it. But thanks a lot, folks, for having me here.
Well, thank you for coming and being so faithful. Ruby.
I'm Ruby. I'm Giselle's administrative assistant for the Fire Safe Council.
Josh.
Good evening, everyone. Josh Bean, Program Manager with CORE, working alongside the Fire Safe Council on the CWDG project.
Christine Holtz.
Yeah, Christine Holst. I'm a fuels tech out of the McLeod office for the U.S. Forest Service on the Shasta Trinity National Forest.
Kevin Mancebo.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Coming to you from Grants Pass, Oregon, and just got here for the Grizzly Complex. CAL FIRE Siskiyou Unit, Hazard Mitigation Assistant Chief.
Wow. CJ Rodriguez.
Good evening, y'all. I'm CJ. I'm with the Mount Shasta Bioregional Ecology Center. I recently took over the Community Garden and Community Fire Resiliency Program. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome, CJ. Joseph Hott.
Yeah, hi, everybody. This is Joseph Hott with Black Mountain Fire Safe Council out here in Hornbrook, California.
And welcome, Joey. Jennifer Erickson.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Erickson. I'm the Forest Fire Prevention Officer here on the Klamath National Forest. And Dave, we're stoked that we were able to make that happen. So good things. Thank you.
Hey, Jennifer, what lookout tower is that you're in?
It's Ore Mountain, but unfortunately I'm in a cubicle right now.
Yeah. Okay, Kristen Norman.
Howdy. Sorry, I'm in the kitchen putting dinner in the oven. I am Kristen Norman. I am Giselle's administrative assistant and outreach coordinator for the Fire Safe Council of Siskiyou County.
Julie Titus. Oh, welcome, Kristen. Julie Titus.
Oh, I'm upside down. Sorry. This is one of those laptops that flip both ways, so I will fix that here shortly. But anyway, I am Wildland Fire Fuels Consulting and been working with Fire Safe Council for many years. Most recently, a project. It's the CWPP project for Greater Weed Area with a small team, proactive wildland resources.
Welcome, Julie. Gina Grant.
Hi, sorry about that. My name is Gina Grant. I am the Emergency Preparedness and Response Coordinator for Siskiyou County, and I specialize in the Med Health operations.
Welcome, Gina. Nina Canurum.
She may be having some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
She was driving in earlier when I spoke.
Well, says we have 14 participants. I hope I gave everyone an opportunity to introduce themselves. If not, speak up now. But you do not have to forever hold your peace. You can speak up anytime. All right. Well, as I said, we have no speaker for tonight. We anticipated one, but she's going to come next month instead, and that will be Jill Drinkwater of Pacific Power and Light. And she's going to talk about a number of stats and things that are going on with Pacific Power concerning the cost. One thing is concerning the cost of underground versus overhead lines, and why we're not doing it and why we should or should not do it. So she'll be talking about that next month. And we also may have an insurance person who has been able to find insurances for, I can't think of her name, Jeanette, I think, who's been able to find insurance policies for those people that have been without and not able to do anything but the FAIR plan. So she's going to talk to us about some insurance strategies, and she may be next week too if there's enough I mean next month too if there's enough time. So let's just hop into this. And Josh, would you talk to us about the Community Wildfire Defense Grant?
Yes, good evening again. The Community Wildfire Defense Grant is very active. Since we last spoke, we've done roughly 16 assessments. So not as many as we usually do, but that's due to us focusing on getting homes out to bid. So we had two different field tours, one out in Scott Bar, where we showed off 10 properties, and then one out in Forks, where we showed off 11 properties. And those bids are ending on the 11th, so this Friday. So very exciting, getting work done. And then we have 15 properties that will be starting work beginning of August. So moving forward, we have been very focused on getting home assessments done in Dunsmuir and Butte Valley. So the like Tenet, McDowell, Bray areas. So if you know anybody who's interested in getting a free home assessment with the chance of defensible space, I will put the link for the project sign up in the chat. And then we're also gathering more interest in Wairika Humbug, which has been slow, but we've been reaching out to good community partners here in Siskiyou. So thank you to everybody that has been helping with that. And this Saturday, we will be at the Duck Derby in Scott Bar, where there's a lot of interest in Firewise. It's a very proactive community out there, and looking forward to that this Saturday. Other than that, for the project, also in the chat, there's a program coordinator job opportunity. This is a fantastic opportunity to jump on board to this project. We're running this project till 2028. We're looking for somebody to kind of take on outreach, creating those partnerships, kind of strategy behind getting more signups, things like that. So if you know anybody in Siskiyou County who may be interested in that job opportunity, the link is in the chat along with my email contact. That's the end of report for now, unless there's any questions. It does look like Nina is driving, but she's listening in. And they're continuing great work down there in LA with fire mitigation and disaster preparedness as well.
Drive safe, Nina.
Actually, I am parked now.
Oh.
So I don't know if you guys wouldn't mind me sharing just a little bit real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so we did give you guys, at least in the weekly meeting, the information that CORE has been awarded a grant for wildfire prevention and preparedness, resilience, and home assessment signups. We won't be doing the actual debris clearance. That's going to be done by the Regional Mountains Conservancy in the Angeles National Forest and the U.S. Forest Service. They're going to be doing the actual clearance and fuel reduction. So we're super excited. We were just awarded last week. And it's a very big project for us, very similar in size to what we've taken on in Siskiyou for our piece of the implementation. So super excited, and really all the learnings and everything from this community, from all the communities in Siskiyou County, the work we did in Dunsmuir, informed and was able to give us a very good chance at this award, and we won it. So we just wanted to share that. We also may be looking to the Fire Safe Council for some help on how to apply for a CAL FIRE grant. We're going to be applying for CAL FIRE grant again down in Southern California for Riverside County. And so just kind of identified a sort of a gap and a need there. But yeah, so they released the money early this year, it looks like. And so, yeah, so we've got an August 1st, I think, deadline. And they just released it. So earlier than normal, but I think they're trying to get these dollars out.
Well, congratulations. That's such good news, and glad that we could be of help by just being partners and collaborators. So
Yeah,
we appreciate you all.
thank you. And I believe you also provided a letter of support for us. So again, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
And real quickly, thank you, Nina, for joining in and pulling over. Please drive safe. I do want to give a shout out to Ruby. Great work on the field tours and showing contractors around. And then also Kristen Norman, all the outreach efforts at the Trails In Music Festival, gathering folks for the Dunsmuir Railroad Days, which reminds me to also shout out to Denise Willie for stepping up from Dunsmuir and helping out. That's end of report. Thank you all.
Thank you, Josh. Good acknowledgements. I appreciate all of those people. Ruby's been a ton of help. And so has Kristen. But thank you all. All right, moving on. U.S. Forest Service update. Jennifer?
Okay, so this is really going to be more of a fire update because that's pretty much what we're focused on right now. At the end of June, we got some lightning. We all got it across the county. And the Klamath picked up 17 fires. 2 of them ended up being complexed, the Summit Fire and the Jacket Fire. And that's being run as the Marble Complex by an incident management team. I do want to say that the initial and extended attack was very successful on the Jacket Fire. That was east of Forks of Salmon. And really, they were able to get line around that before the team came here. So it was an excellent catch, and we could not have done it without our CAL FIRE brothers and sisters. So please pass that on, Kevin. Thank you very much. That was a team effort for sure. Let's see. And so the Jacket is looking very good. They're mopping that up. The Summit is also, it looks pretty good. They've got things are kind of secured on the north end. They're looking pretty good there. And then also on the head of the fire, on the south part of the fire, it's in just a bad spot. So they're looking at some indirect line opportunities out there. We've got 4 hotshot crews out there working on it. I can't remember what our latest acreage was, but I want to say somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 or 500 acres. We got 4 more fires during the second round of lightning, picked those all up. And we currently have the Butler Fire that has moved on to the Klamath National Forest on our west side, came off the 6 Rivers. That is just north of Forks of Salmon. So we're engaging with them on that. And I don't have much more of an update. It's been a busy day out there, lots of things moving around, and the fire's been very active. We had 1 human-caused fire at Happy Camp that is under investigation, and for RAC, the Secure Rural Schools Act, it hasn't been renewed for a while, but it's a standalone bill right now, working its way through Congress. I think it went through, I can't remember what comes first, the House, and it was approved, and then it now goes to the Senate. So keep your fingers crossed for that so we can get back to doing some rack work. And then we also will be at the Duck Derby. So see you there. That's it.
See you there, Jen.
Thank you, Jen, for all you do. Gosh, you guys are busy, and we appreciate what all the firefighters are doing in our county and beyond.
Hey, Jen, is our furry friend Smokey gonna make an appearance at the Ducky Derby?
I think so. The one of my coworkers is actually leading that up, but I'm sure that is something that they are planning on doing.
Okay, yeah, we're Ready Raccoon will be out and about prowling. So
Okay,
they can
we'll watch for
have
his tail.
yeah. All right. See you there.
Thank y'all. Shasta Trinity, is there anybody here to report?
Yeah, I can give a overview.
Thanks, Christine.
Yeah, busy week for all the fire agencies in the area. On the local district, we picked up 6. There was more in the overall forest, but they've all been lined and contained. Their Tom Fire is still open with dispatch, but has been contained for 3 days now. The big fire, the smoke impact that you're seeing from town is from the Green Fire that's on the Shasta Lake District, kind of in no man's land between McLeod and Shasta Lake. And that has been taken over by an incident management team. It's very difficult ground, lots of kind of bifurcated, non-contiguous ridge systems. So they're working hard, but definitely a lot of challenges there, particularly with the incoming weather. But if you see drift smoke, likely coming from the green. Locally, we have started a snagging project on the mountain bike trails off the gateway system. We're still working on the agreement with CAL FIRE. But we actually have quite a few resources that have come to pre-position and then respond to the fire. So while they're not responding to fires, we've been able to begin that project with the extra manpower. We have signs posted at the 10-gallon trailhead and then kind of by the washout on the Mears Ascension Trail and and we also set up road guards. But yeah, for mountain bikers, that'll be kind of a continuous on and off project just to mitigate those snags. No fire restrictions yet, but we anticipate, yeah, Julie.
Yeah, real quick, Christine. Just a quick question on the green fire. Is it gonna run into the HERS fire? The old HERS? Do you know?
So it's definitely headed in that direction.
Yeah, okay.
I honestly, if you're watching the operational updates, we probably have the same amount of information. And so
Yeah.
I know the box that they drew is pretty big. And the HERS fire is what, 2018. So,
Yeah,
it's starting to
exactly.
get
I thought
snaggy
it
and
was
nasty, but
going that way
it's definitely headed that direction.
when we got the south winds. Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Thanks.
exactly, which we seem
Sorry
to
to
be.
interrupt the rest of you.
Oh, no, absolutely. But yeah, so we'll see if that buys them a window of opportunity. But again, over 100-degree heat and pretty difficult ground. So yeah, that's Trout Creek Campground. We've finally been able to do some cleanup after the antelope fire, and that's going to be reopened to the public pretty soon. And then our AmeriCorps Fuels crew is going to be coming in next week. And I believe that is the end of report for me.
Great report. Well, thanks, Christine. Any questions for Christine? Moving on, CAL FIRE. Hi, Kevin, you're muted.
All right. I think I got it to work this time. Good evening, everybody, again here in Applegate, Oregon. Today we launched about 30 of us from the department up here to assist ODF for a few weeks. So there'll probably be some smoke impacts coming from the north. Let's see, fire activity, I think like the lady said, everything's been pretty busy and everything's been uptick, but we've been able to keep ahead of everything. Fueled and prescribed fire. Let's see. Unfortunately, I pulled today the Greenhorn, the Newton, which would be South Wairika, and the White Rock control burns. We just pulled it today because we have the resources and the fuels are right, but we don't want to create negative optics with the public. So once everything gets wrapped up again, if we get a breath of clean air, we'll look at taking a stab at those burns in conjunction with the PBA and City of Wairika. No significant new fuels projects, but we're always clamoring around. There's a bunch of them in the hopper. Staffing is at peak, and we're just out there doing the thing. And the 4th of July, congratulations to everybody in the community. It was a very survivable weekend. Everybody was quite responsible, so much appreciated. I will be, any questions if you have it here. I may not be able to stay on for the whole call because we've got another briefing going on here in a few minutes.
Any questions you all for Kevin? All right. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate you. Let's move to Caltrans. Anybody here from Caltrans? Shasta Valley RCD, are you here? All right, Julie Titus, would you like to talk about the CWPP and have any updates on that for us?
Yeah, sure. Real briefly, we had what we call the kickoff meeting, which is interagency partner type meeting, and just to sort of give the outline and give some information with those folks move forward. We'll be obviously having a big public meeting later on, probably toward fall. We just realized there's not a lot through the summer with all the interagency work going to fires. And we had a small meeting, which was a working group mapping meeting to delineate the project boundary for Greater Weed area. And within that boundary, there's going to be several WUI areas identified, and it's just what would you say, preliminary work, and then this will be brought forward, so there will be input at the public meeting from everybody else. And so that's gone well, though the questions come up now about the possibility of bringing Lake Shastina into it as well, since it's part of the zip code. And so that's also being discussed. And that's about where we are right now.
All right, Kristen, did you want to add something?
No, just in case anyone is in the Lake Shastina area or is interested, they do have their own CWPP from over 10 years ago, right?
Yeah,
I think
they
so,
do.
roughly.
Yeah, and so it's way outdated and needs to be updated. But yeah, the likelihood of them doing that on their own at this point with their organizational structures is not probably going to happen. So
Yeah,
looking
they're
at
sounding
adding
interested.
them to this Greater Weed CWPP.
Also for Kristen, the other thing that was interesting at the last quick mapping meeting was that Brian Carter, the weed fire chief, is interested. He has been asked about and interested in Firewise, and so I know you've been really busy, but I was gonna hook you guys up so you can talk to him about that too.
Yeah, I guess the way I understood it was the city council kind of
Yeah,
voluntold him to
I know.
create a Firewise community for the city of Weed, which is great. I don't think he
Yeah,
would be the one leading the charge. We got to find some people to delegate to, but
right. It's all completely different than CWPP, but I just want to say I'll make sure you get that information. Yeah.
right, yeah. So within that discussion of the mapping the boundaries of the Greater Weed CWPP, we discussed the boundaries of the Hammond Ranch Firewise community that's in process, and also the City of Weed Firewise community. So it's all great, and we hopefully will
Exactly.
have a Lake Shastina Firewise community going. That's all kind of wrapped up into all the same kind of outreach and work we're going to be doing alongside the CWPP. So kind of killing a few birds with one stone. I don't really like that. There must be a better saying. I don't like to talk about killing birds with stones, but anyway, you know what I mean.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, guys. All right, moving on. UC Ag Extension, anyone here from that organization? Or Cal RCND? Siskiyou Prescribed Burn Association. Stop me if I'm going too fast. Scott Valley Watershed Council. And now CJ, Mount Shasta Bioregional update.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I have recently started working with a newly developed sub-community that I believe would be considered Hammond Ranch. Again, it's that weed sphere of influence. I'm talking about an area, Columbine Road, to Old Stage to College, with an expectation to continue to move southbound and potentially westbound, and then eventually eastbound all the way up to the college. But right now, those first boundaries, Columbine, Old Stage College, I've got a really motivated sub community with access to equipment. So I feel like we're going to be able to very quickly start doing some work. And yeah, actually, I look forward to connecting with people like Julie and Kristen here shortly in regards to what it is that we're, what we start laying down as a plan and goals that we feel are realistically achievable, up to and including maybe even landing somewhere with a prescribed burn.
Okay. Sounds like all good stuff, CJ.
It's a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
Yeah.
Really
looking
exciting.
forward
Yeah.
to interacting with you. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely set up a time to get together and talk shop and connect the
Yeah,
dots.
I
Yeah,
was gonna say, maybe I should give you a call
Yeah.
and we can, there's, there's a whole action plan that'll come out of a CWPP and it's gonna be based off of a wildfire analysis
Great.
that they'll do with modeling. But no doubt that all the simple, not simple, but the obvious things like, the roadside work
Right.
and
Egress,
any,
ingress work. Yep.
exactly, defensible space work is awesome. So, but I can
Yeah.
give you a call sometime.
Yeah, Julie, I'm actually going to shoot you a direct message. I already shot you one. I'm going to shoot a follow-up direct message here in Zoom with my phone number. And
Okay.
Chris, I just got your phone number today, so I'll be in contact with you probably later this week, early next week. And yeah.
Super exciting.
Sounds good.
We've
Thanks.
got a good network of folks that have been working for 2 years now trying to get the Firewise going. And so we're all tied in with the Hammond Ranch. It's an HLA, I believe, right? Not an HOA.
Right.
And we presented at their annual meeting, Josh and I did, last September, to about 60 folks in the Hammond Ranch HLA, and they voted, at the time to move forward with the Firewise. And so, yeah, we've had our initial Zoom meeting with the, leadership
Captains.
committee. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I wanted to ask you, do when you talk about that area, does it include the west side of Old Stage as well?
Mm-hmm. Yep, both sides of Old Stage. And basically, yeah, the northern boundary is a little bit further than yours for the Hammond Ranch. Firewise, we're going all the way up to China Gulch, actually.
Okay, so China Mountain Road.
Sorry, yeah, China Mountain Road and Eddy Creek and Nighthawk and Burley. Basically,
Yeah, cool.
yeah, it's a little bit further north of College. But yeah, other than that, it sounds
And
like
how far east do you when you guys identified that boundary and had those meetings, how far east did you guys include?
I mean, it's basically to the city limit,
Okay,
which
great.
is,
Perfect.
almost basically COS, so like all those houses between COS and Old Stage would be included in the,
Excellent.
yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like we need to have a meeting with all the partners here to make sure that we're working seamlessly together on all of these similar properties and similar spaces. So it's all good. We just need to talk, I think. So
Yeah, and then
Yeah, it's a really big area with a lot of work to be done.
yeah,
yeah.
we thought about applying for an SFA grant last year for that area, because there's so much forested acreage, and such a huge fire hazard in this area. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems pretty tremendous. In fact, I was actually curious, Does anybody in this meeting know the boundaries of the OES grants that were being utilized in Mount Shasta? I know like I recently went and met with the people over at Skyview and saw some of the work that had been done, but wasn't exactly sure what those where that grant boundaries lie. Does anybody know that?
I think it's on the RCD's website, the map of their project. It's their, they call it the West Mount Shasta project. It's the RCD's OES grant that's doing that work there. And yeah, we there's a Skyview Firewise community that was the second one to get their designation in the county. That's 42 homes right in that area that a lot of those homeowners are getting work done with the RCD's OES grant. So
Yeah, it's really beautiful stuff that they're doing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is amazing, really amazing.
And we have, and Josh can probably speak more to it, we will be doing home assessments in defensible space in that area as well sometime in the future.
Hell yeah, love that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's another thing we're trying to kind of create some more capacity by training Ruby and I on the home assessments with Josh and Greg, so that we can be more responsive and agile when there's these communities that are activating and getting momentum and working towards Firewise, that, you know, we can spin off from the CWDG priority list, the matrix of communities that Josh and Greg are working through, and Ruby and I can jet out to the Gateway Firewise community and the Hammond Ranch Firewise, even if they're not designated yet, you know, and do home assessments and really help activate even more, you know, get a lot. So yeah,
That's awesome. And that's a training that you're providing, Josh?
Yes, yeah, on the Fireside software that we utilize.
Cool.
Hey, Josh, I got a question for you. So you're going out and doing these assessments. Would it be wise to have a short video or something showing what you're doing? And then before they even get out there, that people have already been taking a look at making sure, instead of reacting to it, they're starting to seeing what they're doing and then having questions.
I think that'd be great, Dave. I could contact you outside of this because I know Jamie Tarn and I were talking about different ways to show the public examples of the final product in the process.
Cool.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
Dave, I think it's a wonderful idea.
yeah.
I really like that. Well, Josh and I have been talking about it, and he was just developing like a small PowerPoint presentation for the library, and we're trying to get it so we can explain it to people better when we're in a meeting or a format that it's hard to explain sometimes to people what is included in the home assessment. So a little video would be awesome.
You know, I was thinking something. Okay, we'll talk about it later. So yeah, not get all
Okay,
that.
just to throw a caveat in here, I was on a Zoom with the CAL FIRE Prevention Grant office hours, and they brought that up, and it's a possibility we could or might apply for funding to create videos for PSAs. That's allowable with this grant. So,
Cool.
Cool.
get Ready Raccoon out and about. He's always fun.
yeah. Well, thanks, everyone. A lot of good, important collaboration and interaction, so we can dovetail some of these projects and get on board with each other. So moving on, Sierra Nevada Conservancy, Thule, is anybody here from there? OES? Nancy? Red Cross, I know these people aren't here, so Pacific Power, USDA NRCS, Air Quality, Siskiyou County, the Sheriff's Office, CHP, Siskiyou County Natural Resources, nobody. So let me give an update for the Fire Safe Council of Siskiyou County. We just had contractor tours. We're putting out to bid the Dunsmuir project, 160 acres, I believe. So we looked at that and decided that's going to be mostly handwork. There's not too much in Dunsmuir you can masticate. It's just too steep. So we're going to be just doing some handwork there. And then Lake Shastina, that's almost all mastication. So it's all roadway ingress and egress. And so we looked at those projects, and that's all those bids will be due on the 18th and we can make a determination. We'll be moving out to Bray tomorrow to show the contractors that piece, also as ingress and egress. So things are happening and contractors are getting on board, and we're going to do some actual on the ground. We can't wait to see it. So anyway, any questions? All right. Okay, Jamie, did you want to take over right here at the Fire Safe Council updates? No? Okay, let's go on to Fire Safe Council updates. Black Mountain, Joey.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, first of all, it's good to see you all, and I'm sorry it's been so long since I've been around. I have been out literally everywhere, doing a lot of Fire Safe Council work for the county, including out of the county. I've been up as far as Oregon, Washington, even over near the coast on 101. I have done with my new job and new crew that I work with over in Crescent City off of 101 approximately about 3.5 months ago. I did a 280 acre fuel reduction program for the native land up in the Klamath area, just above Crescent City area. I've also done a lot of local Fire Safe Council work with me and my nephew here along in Siskiyou County, all along A12 corridor here in Hornbrook, KRCE, a few just about everywhere. I'm going along and doing a lot of weed whacking this time of year to help people weed whack their yards, fuel reduction, trimming trees, doing anything to remove fuel with all these fires that we're getting. And one other update, I know we have a lot of fires. We had a new start as of yesterday up on the Siskiyou Summit. So if anybody of you are traveling from California into Oregon, it is kind of a mess up there right now. They're possibly thinking about closing down I-5 over the Siskiyou Summit. The fire is well over, I believe, 250 acres, and hopefully they get that one soon. My next project is I also picked up a lot of one of my customers was actually a local realtor out of Yreka, California, that is helping me get my information out on the work that I do for Fire Safe Council, and she's passing it along to all the realtors in Siskiyou County and Yreka, Weed, Dunsmuir, McLeod, wherever. If a home needs to be cleaned up, they call me now. Matter of fact, me and my nephew just got done doing one yesterday that took me 4 days to get cleaned up. Fuel reduction to get it to where they can claim insurance back to their structure. So I'm doing that kind of work now as well to try to help everybody gain insurance or find any way we can to make sure they keep it and not lose it, or even get their rates even cheaper by doing the fuel reduction.
I appreciate you, Joey. I know you work hard. If anybody doesn't know, Joey has worked for us. He is one of the hardest workers I know. Great at reducing fuels and cutting brush. So thank you again, Joey. And moving on, Butte Valley, we'll be out there tomorrow with a Bray contractor tour. Core, any updates on your Bray project, Butte Valley project?
Continuing home assessments. So far, we've just done one in the area, but that one turned into gaining 5 more signups. So we'll be out there tomorrow in your area, your neck of the woods.
So we're reaching far and wide throughout the county, trying to reach every community and every valley, mountain, town, and lake community that we can, a river community that we can. So Copco Lake, no, Dunsmuir. I just said we did some contractor tours. We're getting ready to do that. How about Core? What are you doing there?
More home assessments. Trying to get as many done throughout July to be able to identify work to fly out to bid in August sometime.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
Stephen Decatur, disaster mitigation specialist for the city of Dunsmuir, has been, I just want to give a shout out. He's been very helpful in helping us do all this, including the Sawmix group. He's been taking some leadership there, and we just really appreciate him. Uh, Greater Weed, you already heard we're working to do a CWPP there. Anybody have any more comments about Greater Weed Fire Safe Council? Hammond's Ranch, Kristen, you have anything from them?
Not that I didn't already mention. I mean, we're just basically looking through templates at this point of the community wildfire risk assessment and 3-year action plan that need to be done for Hammond Ranch in order to apply. They also are interested in doing a chipper day in the fall, which would fulfill one of the requirements for the application. So hopefully get that application submitted by November is kind of the annual deadline for the year for applications. So that's our goal.
Thank you for the work you're doing out there, Kristen. Happy Camp, anybody here? Horse Creek? Juniper Flat? Klamath River? Lake Shastina, as I said, we're getting some work done there. We've been talking about a CWPP there. So, and John McPhee is the Fire Safe Council leader. Been working with him, had a meeting with him to discuss several things that he was concerned about. So we're working through those issues in Lake Shastina. Lower Scott River.
Just
McLeod.
having the Scott Bar
Okay.
like Josh said, I guess Jen's going to be out there too, going out for the Ducky Derby community event and doing a booth, an outreach education booth, and hopefully getting folks activated to move towards getting Firewise designation.
Yeah, thank you guys for going to the far reaches of the earth to make this stuff happen. It's some long drives. Appreciate it. Where did I leave off? Oh, Lower Scott River, McLeod. I know Shasta Valley RCD is going to be putting in a prevention grant for some fuel reduction just south of McLeod. That'll tie in with some fuel reduction that's already been done out there. Otherwise, I've heard not too much from them. Mount Shasta area, we're working on finishing up the Old Stage Road project. Our contractor will be out there either the end of this week or starting the next week. We're going to get some more acres, and we're still waiting on Caltrans to do a 9-acre piece that belongs to them right there. So we're still working on that. And we've also tentatively been accepted for a Cantera piece through the Stevens funding that Brian Murphy applied for. And so we're going to do 199 acres in a big piece of land next to the river in the Cantera Loop area, or so that's the plan. Quartz Valley, Salmon River, anybody have an update on them with everything that's going on there?
I don't on Salmon River, but just a little blurb on Quartz Valley. They did get the last round of Community Wildfire Defense Grant funding. They did get, I think it's 250,000 to write a CWPP. And so that's getting underway. And I guess I should have jumped on for McLeod at the McLeod Flea Market. And so it was a big engagement event for us. And it's one of those, repeat exposure to information things that we finally are getting. And that's what happened with Hammond Ranch. It took a lot of exposures before we got traction and momentum. So now we're finally starting to see that out in McLeod with both in-town folks wanting to get Firewise going, and then also the off-grid community, Mount Shasta Forest. A lot of folks wanting to get that going out there too. So
Yeah, it's all good stuff, and we want to keep in contact because we want to help them as they're moving forward to get all this done. It's all really good stuff, and we can't do it alone. We need partners, we need people, and I appreciate all of them. Salmon River, Syad Valley. Wairika area, Josh, do you have any, you've been to their meetings, right?
Hey, I have, and I might lean on Jen a little bit. Sorry, Jen. They're very busy with their Austin Road project. I know that I think Siskiyou got moved forward, so they're able to hopefully get some work rolling on that. And then I was out with one of their project managers last week doing some assessments. I just know a little bit about the Austin Road, not too much more than that.
All right, Jen, do you have anything for Wairika?
One thing that stood out from the last meeting actually was the Karuk tribe here in Wairika. They've got like a Type 6 engine, and they're doing all kinds of home hardening projects on the houses around here. So really awesome stuff. That's it.
That's great. That's great.
Thank you, Jen.
Okay, so not leaving anybody out. Anybody else? Heidi, did you finally get on? Did you want to say anything?
Sure, yeah. Thanks, Josh, for coming out and doing an assessment at my house. So now I know what goes into an assessment. It was really helpful. And then we did kind of a wildfire risk assessment at the northern boundary of Shasta Ohm Path, which butts up right to the Shasta Trinity boundary right there. And we've discovered 3 homeless encampments, and they're active and they're right below Spring Hill.
Oh,
And
boy.
they're really close to these homes. So I let the Forest Service know, I let the city of Mount Shasta know, and I let the sheriff's department know. So whatever they're gonna do, I'm not sure. We haven't gone back and looked, but yeah, that's I think going to be one of our things that we're going to include in our application, and it should be helpful for demonstrating that we're doing those kinds of assessments. And then I need I need to get my community together for a meeting and formalize this, because we haven't done it yet. So I'll send you guys an invite, Giselle and Kristen, for August, and maybe some presentation ideas. And that's when Laura Berryhill, who's the other neighborhood captain, is going to be back in town. So I don't know if you guys, well, how do you arrange that? I mean, is that too soon, or would September be better?
Go for it. And if you get a response, you just have to wait to see how many respond and maybe give them a couple dates. You could.
September would probably be better with people being back from vacation and school starting. I don't know, generally speaking.
Well, I mean, for you guys, for Kristen and for Giselle, because if you're not there, then I'm going to have to
September would be better
step up.
for me too.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. That's good to know. That's a great
Yeah,
start.
the first part of September. I have stuff going on the last part of September, but yeah, August is
Okay.
good too. The
Thank
end of
you.
August after the fair.
Okay, I'm going to aim for first part of September then.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
And
Thank you, Heidi.
I don't think that the chipper day that you did was before our last meeting. Did you report out on the
I did.
last meeting? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I did. We had almost 30 people. Yeah, and they were very excited to do it again. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a really, just for general knowledge for folks who don't know, our awesome, I think he's already hopped off, new prevention chief, Kevin Mancebo, issued a challenge to all of Siskiyou County to see how many chipper days we could make him and his crew do for us. And Heidi and Happy Camp and a few other communities have taken him up on it already. And so it's exciting to see. It's also a really effective way to get a Firewise community started is by doing these chipper days we've discovered. So
Yeah, and I really like the idea of you guys thinking about building capacity to help out with the assessments. you know, everybody's got hot spots in their neighborhood, and we really have some hot spots in our area. It'd be good to get those assessments in whatever way we can.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Well, thank you, Heidi. Thank you for all your hard work.
Sure.
And
Anybody
Christian,
else?
Christian, I just wanted to say one thing I forgot to say during my little speech. I just wanted to say thank you, Christian, for all the outreach you do. Matter of fact, most of the jobs I have gotten to help in Fire Safe Council, Firewise and Fire Safe, have actually came from you, from being at the fair, being at the Gold Rush days. 90% of the people that I help have came to you at all the booths that you set up for outreach, that have remembered that you have gave out my name and the kind of work that I do in Fire Safe Council. 90% of all of them that I do have came to you. So Christian, I cannot thank you enough on the outreach that you do. People are coming to me left and right because of all the outreach that you do at our local fairs, at our Gold Rush days, every outreach you do. So I can't thank you enough.
Well, that's awesome. I had no idea. That's really great that they're following through and, you know, actually getting the work done. That's awesome to hear that they're not just taking home all my information and throwing it in the garbage and not doing anything.
Yeah, because matter of fact, I gained a big one that's going to take me all summer and pretty much all of winter. It's like over, because I'm only using me and my nephew to do this work. And I gained one that's well over like 7 acres big out there in Highway 263 right there out of Wairika. And she wants her whole yard completely fuel reduction. And I guess Wairika Fire Safe Council told her that they're still trying to work on a grant to do this work. So she's actually paying me out of her own pocket to do this work. And I told them and informed her that we do have a Wairika Fire Safe Council, that when we get grants for them, that we can hopefully get crews to come in and do more on 263. But in the meantime, I've been doing a lot of it and getting it all accomplished for her.
That's
So
awesome.
go
That's
get
great
her,
to hear.
Joey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Marlene Ludlow, Joey would like your phone number. She has it in the chat.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people come to me at my booth saying, I can't find anyone to do this work. And also,
Well,
you know what
feel
else,
free
Joey?
to.
They also say, I've literally had probably already 5 people just this season in the last couple months say they can't get anyone to come and do just basic home hardening stuff like replacing the mesh on their vents. They can't get anyone who's willing to come do like these smaller odd jobs for home hardening either. So there's a gap, you know, an opportunity there as well. So
Yeah, because like I said, I even actually made a business on the side of Fire Safe Council with me and my nephew. We actually have business cards, and I now have
that was my next
magnet
question.
signs on the side of my car for the business that we do to help Fire Safe.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, get some of
So
those.
I can actually pass out a lot of business cards too. I can, next time I meet up with you, Christian, at like a booth or something, I can bring you tons of them and you
Yeah,
can
or
pass
just
them along.
get them to Dale or drop them off at Dale and Giselle's house and I'll get them from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be
awesome.
great. Well, Joey, can you give Marlene your phone number?
I sure can. I will put it in the chat. Yes.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else have
I do.
anything they would like to say?
Yeah, this is Dave from Siskiyou Media Council. So thanks for reminding me that SMC will have a booth out at this Golden Fair, and we are going to try to do some little bit of live streaming. So if you want to stop by, we can do an interview, do things like that, tell you what you guys are going to be doing, what the plans are doing, and pass out some information. And we're going to be doing it along with voluntary organizations active in disaster. So going to have those groups there as well.
My cell phone number in their chat.
So
where we can get more business.
All right, there you go. So that's out. So if you want to stop by and do something for little chat or something like that, just give me a little heads up so I can kind of do a little prep and then we can sit down and have a chat during the fair. I'll be there all the week.
Yeah, that's an excellent opportunity. So
Yeah,
anyway,
and we'll
yeah, and then I
definitely,
think the little
collaborate with CAL FIRE and Forest Service because every year at the fair we get all of our furry friends out and about, Captain Cal, Cougar, and Smokey Bear, and Reddy Raccoon. We usually do it 2-3 times a day, so that would be fun to do a little video with the mascots.
All right. We're moving into open forum. Any comments?
Giselle, or I think it should be Giselle, could you put in the chat Mike from McWick's phone number so I can contact him? I don't have it.
Sure.
Thank you. For some reason, I thought I did.
I've got it right here. I'll put it in, Giselle.
Okay.
Thank you.
I had a thing, guys, that I wanted to bring into open forum that's really, really, really hitting the bottom of my heart. Just to let you guys know, the last several months I became a huge TikToker and helping support Fire Safe Council even on TikTok side now. A lot of people from all over the world that I talk to on TikTok about being a firefighter and Fire Safe Council. I got a quick question for all of us, actually. I know we're doing so well for Siskiyou County and South County and Northern California, but how can we get more outreach, especially with, like, say, for instance, like this flood that we just had in Texas and not having FEMA, and with everything, I'm sure we all know that FEMA is very hard to get a hold of right now for disasters and fires, floods, hurricanes, any kind of disaster. How can we get more outreach to other states that are really, really in need of everything that we're kind of doing here in Siskiyou County on getting grants and helping Firewise, and not just Firewise, but like, say, communities that get hurricanes and need this extra assistance in flood damage or hurricane damage. For instance, like the Texas flood that's going on right now that needs so much assistance, like all the stuff that we're talking about for our good old Siskiyou County. How can we get outreach to the other states and start helping them as well?
Well, we have folks that work with us right here, CORE, who are wonderful at disaster response. And I think that's how we can do it, is these disaster response organizations need to go and reach out, or are going. They're already there, many of them.
Yeah, and it gets complicated too
Yeah.
when this and that you see more and more often. And then, especially when we talk about fires and you start getting into October when the preparedness level's 5 and resources become more and more strapped.
And also just, Joey, that when we got this CWDG grant, granted we got a large one, but there when I went up for the meeting when it was being handed out, we got one, and Southern Oregon must have had at least 12 that they got. So it was all around. It was from Ashland out into the farther east of Southern Oregon. So there are other communities doing the same thing we are.
Yeah.
It's just how does everybody do it?
Yeah.
That I don't have an answer for, but I do know that these grants are being spread out amongst every state.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Nina?
because I've been a huge TikToker lately to even broadcast fire safe information across TikTok world. And I have a lot of friends on there that are in need, with everything that's going on with our government, with not having our good old FEMA to support all the disasters besides our Siskiyou County. And I'm trying to figure out ways to where I can broadcast and give them more information. I'm almost wondering if I could broadcast, because I know we record these, to give them a little bit of education and let them pull it up on YouTube so they can hear the kind of things that we go through and the groups that we go through for grants and the people that we have for support that help do all this, and let them get a little bit of education and outreach through YouTube through our videos.
Yeah,
I'm
we
kind of
always
thinking.
share those links. Those links are open to the public, so you're absolutely welcome to share them. Nina, did you have a question?
No, not a question. I just a comment, and because the question from Joey. Hi, Joey. Nina here.
Hi,
Um,
Nina.
yeah, so I'm the California area manager over climate resilience and disaster preparedness for the state of California. And as a humanitarian aid and disaster response organization that does work internationally and nationally as well, CORE has kind of like a separate arm that does humanitarian aid and disaster response and recovery, as well as preparedness. However, when we have these situations where we're in reactionary mode, CORE's first and foremost mission is to, see how we could be of assistance. And oh yeah, CERT training, absolutely. We have a lot of CERT training, CERT trained individuals within our organization, and always keep up with our CPR classes, as well as any kind of first aid, emergency management, IED, like all of those types of skill sets. But I'm just speaking generally. And generally, yes, there is a need for resilience type and mitigation type tactics and processes, community building, weather awareness, all of the things that we here in California have been doing forever because we have to be aware, right? And so where there's things that are less frequent, that preparedness doesn't exist, because there's a complacency that has happened over time, right? So as more intense and frequent weather events occur, there will be, I know there will be a wave of new trainings and responsibilities that are being put on individuals and families and communities, rather than relying on government services that may not exist.
Okay. Okay.
So we are actually on the ground, are going to be on the ground tomorrow in Texas, specifically in a small town called San Angelo, that had put out a call for needs, because it's a very wide area that has been damaged. And I think the focus has been primarily on the camps and things like that, as as a catastrophic and just horrible disaster that has occurred, loss of life. But there are a lot of other communities that maybe didn't have so much loss of life, but a lot of damage to their communities. And these are all small towns, small communities, one stoplight type towns. And so that's where our organization goes, because we know those are the people that need the resources the most. It's not where the cameras are, or television crews. It's farther out, where these people don't have as much visibility or resources at their disposal. So it is a work in progress.
Very good to know. I will definitely pass this on to TikTok, because I'm basically on TikTok every night and I do a lot of lives and broadcasting.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I would suggest, Josh can send it to you. We have a YouTube channel, CORE Disaster Response YouTube channel, that has multiple short videos on preparedness for every kind of weather hazard: flooding, storms, power outages, wildfires, debris flows, things like that. So we do have a video for every single one.
Oh, please, awesome. Okay.
Yeah, please, shoot that out. Josh, can you make sure to send him the link to our YouTube page?
Affirmative. I'm on it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Josh. That'll be huge. I can broadcast this on TikTok. I have well over 10,000 people that follow me and I follow back, that I can broadcast this all to, that are in Texas and all around the world that need this kind of assistance right now, big time.
Yeah. And really, the way we kind of refer to it is like, this is just our new reality. And so with our new reality comes a responsibility to educate yourself, to have knowledge, to understand, the weather patterns around you, to know how to read a radar. And yeah, I mean, it's now our responsibility. Nobody's going to do it for us.
Exactly, exactly. And I was wondering who I can come to get the outreach to them. So they're so suffering and so upset that they're not getting the resources, back there in Texas. I'm like, wait a minute. I work for Siskiyou County Fire Safe Council, and we have groups that love to help. That's what this group's all about, loving to help and get those resources and get that outreach to people that are in need. And that's why I've always loved working with Dell and Giselle and Christian and everybody. We love to get out there and put the boots on the ground, basically.
Yep. I know Team Rubicon is mobilizing as well to different areas out there.
Right.
If you're familiar with them, they're a veteran-run disaster aid response organization, national, and yeah, Team Rubicon. They're run by veterans, established by and run by veterans. They've been around for 12 years.
Yeah. Well, this has been an excellent opportunity to share information. It's been a good session. I appreciate y'all. Michael McGill just hopped on. Michael, did you have something to say? We're just about to sign off, but we have time for you. Well,
yeah, hello. Can you guys hear me okay?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, hey, sorry for joining late, guys. Mike McGill with the Shasta Valley Resource Conservation District. Yeah, had a couple of updates and we got some projects going on. Osgood in Wairika, that's bringing Wairika Ridge, the fuel break down to the city limit of Wairika there on the north end, is going to be implemented here this late summer and fall. It's kind of our big implementation project going on right now. But we are, with the wildfire prevention grant being open right now with CAL FIRE, we're going to put in for a fuel break on Campbell Global Properties in McLeod. And we're going to be putting in for another wildfire prevention project in Callahan for some fuels in Callahan. So hopefully each project will be about 400 acres. Wildfire prevention for a project with the Mount Shasta Ski Park. Oh, you guys got me?
Yeah, well, you're in and out, but yeah.
Okay. Apologize. I'm on my phone, but yeah, basically we're putting in 3 grants, one in Callahan, one in McLeod, and then one at the ski park. And all are going to be on with the wildfire prevention solicitation that's open. So, we'll see if we get, 1 or 2 of those, would be really happy. But so either myself or some of the other project managers, some of our partners here, you guys might be seeing some letters of support requests coming out for that. And we really appreciate any feedback or support from the group. Other than that, on the Prescribed Burn Association side, I know Patty's not able to call in tonight. We are still, there's been some really cool opportunities recently where the PBA has been invited out by CAL FIRE and the Siskiyou unit to come out and burn. One was in Greenhorn Park, the other was Wairika Ridge the other week. And so we've got just a great relationship with the CAL FIRE unit, and we're having fun burning with them. And so there may be some future opportunities here in July. But that's been a great emerging partnership between the PBA and CAL FIRE. So those are kind of my updates. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out.
Well, thank you, Michael. Anyone have questions for him?
I was just gonna chime in about the ski park. I'm forgetting who it was at the Trails and Music Festival in Etna. Someone, I was talking to them about not Fire Safe Council project, but one of my husband's projects with the McConnell Foundation, their big FEMA grant that's been slow as molasses to get through all the red tape, and it's been years and it's still not on the ground yet. But someone was asking me that bound, I don't even know the boundary has actually changed recently. They've expanded it quite a bit. But it's basically the triangle, upside down triangle between Mount Shasta, McLeod, and Dunsmuir. And someone was asking me if that was going to reach as far as the ski park. I wish I could remember who that was. So anyway, my point is that you should talk to Alex Carter at the McConnell Foundation and see where those boundaries may or may not line up.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Michael. It
If you don't
might
have
be
his number,
touching
I
on
can
coming up to
text.
your McLeod project, because I know they're moving from Dunsmuir up through that east side to McLeod and into Mount Shasta. So, but be good to get their boundaries, see what y'all can do to work together.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
text
yeah,
you his number, Mike.
yeah, absolutely. That sounds good. We'll definitely touch base with them. Yeah, that's been the ski park's been coming to us for some support over the last few months, and we're just been trying to find an opportunity that aligns with what they're looking to get done too. But yeah, we're excited for that partnership, no doubt. You know, I did actually have a question for the group, and I know this was my one homework assignment for the night, was to call in and ask about this. We're getting a lot of landowners out in Hammond Ranch kind of looking for opportunities for work. And I guess and maybe it's a question for, the Sawmick group or something, but, I guess kind of seeing where our heads are at with, is anyone working in Hammond Ranch? Is anything coming down the line in Hammond Ranch? It seems like there's enough medium to larger, parcel size landowners out there that there could be an opportunity there, in the coming years to get in there and do a large project. But so I was just kind of seeing if anyone else has heard anything or anything coming down the
Well, in
line.
response to that,
Let me, I'd like,
CJ
wait, Giselle, I'd like clarification. When you say work being done out there, are you talking about contractor work or us doing work or Firewise work or private citizen? Would you clarify what you're looking at?
Sure. I think in my head, I would be thinking something along the lines of either like, yeah, defensible space. Of course, you guys have the CWDG grant and stuff, and or fuels, fuel breaks and or things the fuels away from homes. Say 100 feet onward, things like that. In my head, I was thinking more fuels and defensible space. But any and all work is I'd be happy to hear about.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, we
Dave-
talked about applying for an SFA grant last fall for Hammond Ranch for those exactly we get a lot of questions, not just from the Hammond Ranch area, but in general all over the county. There are a lot of these types of landowners that have, 10, 15, 20 acres that, they're too small for like a CFIP grant. Or an NRCS grant. So, the 20 and under acreage with a lot of timber, heavily forested and fuel loaded folks that have done, tens of $1,000s worth of work in their, 1 acre around their home, but, can't do what needs to be done in the other 10, 15, 20 acres. So, yeah, so we considered kind of trying to scramble and do an SFA grant for the larger, farther out fuel reduction for those types of property owners in the Hammond Ranch area last fall, but it just, things weren't lined up well enough to make it probably competitive. So yeah, so we've talked about that, and there's, a lot of things brewing between the Hammond Ranch Firewise community that we've been working on for a couple years. It's now finally moving forward, and then also the Greater Weed CWPP that Julie and Jay are heading up. And so, yeah, it's a good time to
So yeah,
talk
maybe I
about,
can just
yeah,
say a couple words on that, Chris,
yeah,
just
please.
for a second here. Michael, the CWPP has a wildfire analysis that's pretty technical. It's going to be more technical than the countywide one, most likely. And once you have that, some of these properties, because just doing the sort of here and there, picking properties wherever, it would make more sense to have a strategy. So when you started talking like fuel breaks and things like that, that's absolutely what this will do, is give a strategy so that these treatments on the ground, I call that tactics. That the tactics are the things that you do to put the strategy in place. You strategize, and then the tactics to make it all work. So right now it sounds like there's a lot of these sort of shotgun, oh, let's go here, let's go there, let's do this, let's do that. And this plan will really help that. So yeah, that's all I'll say for now. I just wanted to interject that real quick.
So
Well,
if
it
I can
also
add
makes
about grants and about things that we're doing out there, we do have, and we'll be starting home assessments there and doing defensible space. And it is an opportunity also for us to write a prevention grant for those folks that are looking for ingress and egress and more. I know the Firewise community wants something, and Kristen's already mentioned, we've already approached one angle. We may approach it also with the prevention opportunity. So we're focused on Hammond's Ranch. We have been for years. So we haven't forgot them, and Kristen's really worked hard with them to make things happen.
A lot of folks out in the Hammond Ranch are super interested in getting a chipper on site, you know, like a you know, micro grant or whatnot, to be able to have a chipper that's housed at the Hammond Ranch Fire Department or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, and that's a whole nother
That's, yeah,
ball
so
game,
there's
but
just,
yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
like Julie's saying, there's a lot of strategies being talked about and a lot of interest. And now there's, you know, organizational structures being created through the Firewise community, which will really help with implementation and, you know, getting
Yeah.
things
And,
going.
and so to change the subject a little bit, Michael, you guys have a juniper removal project out in the Lake Shastina area?
That is correct. That's another one that's kind of, took him. We put in for it last August, and we're kind of only just been moving forward with that, like this the last 2 weeks. But yeah, the idea there, I believe, is 700 or 900 acres of juniper removal in Shastina, and so that, I think realistically implementation, and that's using your guys' VTP.
Right.
But implementation there, this winter or next summer or something would
right.
be.
Yeah, yeah, and that'd be great. I would too like to talk to you about the project that we're moving forward with now. There is a lot of juniper on some of those properties, and contractors were asking if they should remove them or wait for you guys. So I'd probably just remove them if the landowner wants them. But anyway,
Yeah,
it'd be
yeah,
good to talk with you about it. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's touch base on that.
okay.
And then,
And yeah, and thanks to the group for the good discussion on Hammond Ranch. That was great.
Yeah.
yeah, and if you want to go back and watch the recording, about halfway through the meeting, CJ Rodriguez with the Bioregional Ecology Center has also, you know, separately from what we've been doing with the Firewise community, has a lot of inroads and has had a lot of discussions with Hammond Ranch residents about, you know, getting community action happening out there with their programming at the Ecology Center too. So we're gonna get together sometime soon with CJ and the Ecology Center and see where we can collaborate and amplify our work. So if you want to be included in that, we can definitely include you in that.
Okay. Well, guys, it's been a good discussion. We've gone well over an hour, and we usually allow ourselves about an hour, hour and a half. But if y'all are good, I think we're ready to sojourn or adjourn. What do you think? Anybody have any more to say? All right, I'm reading the chat. Okay.